OPAC is a 10,000 barrel modular refinery that is being promoted by us. And like I've always said in every session that I've had, that's the only refinery you have in Nigeria today that is built by Nigeria, that is constructed by Nigerians, and everything that we did there was done locally, meeting the required local content. And it goes to show how simple it is for us to be able to refine our local product. Though we had foreign technical partners, but theirs was just to supervise the project. Because when we started with OPAC, cost was one of the things that we were looking at. We were looking at minimizing cost and the time to deliver the project. Yeah, so today we have actually installed a 10,000 barrel modular refinery in Kwale in Delta State, and it's operational. But we have had the challenge of not getting enough feedstock to run the refinery. Till date, we have been supported by Pillar Oil. We are getting about 1,500 barrels, which we most times we batch for the purpose of refining. And once we finish batching the quantity that they give to us, we are done for the month. So, and we also think that is not very supportive of the business that we do. Today, Nigeria, we are crying of expensive refined product. And why is it expensive? Because we require FX to bring in the product into the country. And consistently, we have said that the only thing that will bring down the price of refined product in Nigeria is by we having to refine our crude oil locally. I have also consistently said that for every crude that is produced or extracted anywhere in this country that is also exported is taken to refineries abroad. So what happens is that at the end of the day, no value is created in Nigeria because people are not employed from the process of refining those products. And outside of that, in every refinery environment, there are other auxiliary businesses that are created. So it's more or less we taking value out to another country. So I have continuously advocated that what we should do is to encourage more refineries in Nigeria and more modular refineries, like I have consistently said, because Nigeria is challenged by security issues in the Niger Delta, mostly from the vandalization of pipeline and all of that. So you have a whole lot of stranded products or crude in some locations that cannot be evacuated. I'm promoting the fact that modular refinery will solve all of those problems, because if you go to some other countries outside of Nigeria, what you have seen mostly in places like the US and Canada is for them to install small refineries in several places where they actually produce this product for local market. So I think such can be replicated in Nigeria, and I think we require the government to support that this concept of we actually installing modular refinery in areas where you have stranded crude. This is what we, as OPAC, we have taken advantage of. Before we install the refinery, we actually scout around to look at which area it's always challenged with the export of their crude. At the time we were installing this refinery, we started the project in 2017. The Focados pipeline or export line was always encubered, and the one to Braz was always challenged too. So, and that cluster produces, apart from what Ajib and Sterling Oil produce, they have a place where they call the GGF in Umusadege. We realized that the crude that goes to that particular GGF was about between 25 to 35,000 barrels from time, it depends. And they were always having this challenge of taking the crude to either Braz or taking it to Focado. We say, yeah, this was a right cluster for us to put a refinery and ensure that we refine the products that are coming from that cluster and put it into the local market for the benefit of our people, create value out of it. And we choose that location, and that is what we have done. Our intent was also to systematically or sequentially increase the capacity of our refinery from this initial 10,000 barrels to about 60,000 barrels within a period of maybe 3 to 4 years. And part of that, our 60,000 barrels expansion was going to be we having a reformer, and the reformer will help us to process or have a secondary processing channel to produce PMS for the country. But the frustration we have had from inadequate feedstock for the refinery which we have installed, we test run it 2021 and we started full operation 2022. We've been in operation now for like 2 years. But the frustration of inadequate crude oil or feedstock, as we may call it, has not allowed us to expand our capacity. You know, because the 10,000 we have installed, we have not even gotten 10,000 barrels crude to buy from whether NNPC or any other marginal producer around our area. One of the major challenges is that we have been required to pay for this crude in US dollars. And we say this is a product we are producing and we are selling into the local market in Naira. And if we produce and we sell into the local market in Naira and we are expected to pay for the feedstock in US dollar, that will also add to the Naira we're getting or we're looking for to pay for the crude. We add to the difficulties we are having today for FX, because the FX is not available. Where do we go for FX? We go to CBN, we go to our banks. We'll end up mounting more pressure on the already scarce foreign exchange. So we have said that we have actually advocated that crude should be sold in Naira. And I think today, the reality of today shows that if there are local refineries that are producing for local consumption, that whatsoever they are producing, they are also selling in Naira, that they should be given that exclusivity of paying for crude in Naira. And for any export that they may be making out of that crude, they should also be charged in US dollars. So this is what we have consistently, or I have consistently advocated for. And I don't know if someone is listening out there. If someone is listening, yeah, and I think this is time for the solution, because what we keep doing, we can't be doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results. What we are doing is that we are exporting our crude. We earn the US dollars, but we still spend the same US dollars to import refined product. And when you import refined product into the country, what do you get back? Because you're going to sell it. You get the same Naira. So the Naira will still come to the government, because even NNPC today, when they import, when they sell in Naira. They are not selling in US dollars. So their income is in Naira. So why are the modular refineries, the local refineries that are producing for the local market, for the consumption of the local market, why can't they be given exception to pay their feedstock in Naira? I mean, I can go on and on wanting to justify this, but the truth is that we have also tried to find a way where a platform can be created for these issues to be discussed, so that we can collectively find a solution to part of these challenges that the country is currently facing. I'm an advocate of local refining. I'm an advocate of we as a country being a net exporter of refined petroleum products. And I'm very sure and I'm aware that it's a dream that can come true if the required support is given to the local refining industry, where we belong and where we play as OPAC. When we speak about OPAC, you need to understand that OPAC is a refinery. And as a refinery, it produces a refined product. But if you ask me of my achievement, I will tell you that I did not start my business life. I've been running my personal business for the last 22 years. I did not start with OPAC. We started with a servicing company, which is called OMSA. And what has OMSA done? We have traded in the downstream, and we have also supported offshore product requirement. We do bunker delivery to a lot of the IOCs, and we have also, over the years, we have provided logistic services to the IOCs and some other allied companies. So that is where I started this company for. So which is OMSA. OMSA is the company that has now promoted the installation of a modular refinery. And in the last marginal feed bid, we as OMSA also participated in our quest to get feedstock for our refinery, and we are today proudly part of one of the marginal feed, and we are currently doing our EWT, and we are hoping before the end of this year that feed should also be producing crude to add to the volume that the federal government is trying to ramp up. So our company, OMSA, is more or less an integrated company. We have been in the downstream. We have a midstream presence, and now we have upstream presence. So we have created value in the downstream, we have created value in the midstream, and we are also creating value right now in the upstream. And outside of that, we also have our strategy and our plans, which we are deploying at this point in time for other energy sources for the country and all of that. We have what we call a global and integrated solution for the oil and gas industry and what I would call the energy industry as it is today. We as a company, as OMSA, which is more or less the parent company of OPAC and most of the things we are doing, like I've said, we have played in the downstream heavily. We have supported the offshore industry. At the time, we own our vessels, which we use to support offshore, the IOCs and offshore solutions, bunker delivery to most of the platform, the FPSOs, the marine equipment and all of that. I'm also a member of Bunker Traders Association. It's an association that also promotes legitimate trade of bunker in Nigeria, supporting all marine equipment and all of that. That is another topic on its own. It's another industry on its own. But however, OMSA has created value in all of the value chain in the oil and gas industry, both downstream, midstream, and upstream. We have stake in an upstream asset. As of today, we own a refinery, and we are still doing what we know how to do on the downstream side. Our quest into the oil and gas industry, or what we may call the energy industry as it is today, is for us to do things differently. And like I have said, there are certain things that can be done in Nigeria, which is one of the things that we have proven that can be done, is to actually be able to refine product locally in Nigeria here and bring it to the market for the benefit of Nigerians. What that means is that we are actually turning our crude to local product for our people to be able to consume. And outside of that, over the years we have worked in a whole lot of projects, and we are still looking at projects to work on. Today, it is about gas. People are going into gas, but we think it is more or less of renewable energy. The company plan into the future is to actually diversify into renewable energy, and we also have our strategy for that, which is on the table right now, which we are thinking between now and the end of the year that we may be deploying. I may not want to open up our strategy in this interview, but the fact is that we are looking at a way where we can deploy clean energy to Nigeria and for Nigerians, and to help Nigeria to also meet their carbon footprint. And as a company, we deal with everything we do. It's based on full integrity, full disclosure, and all of that. So this is where it has been. We have impacted every community where we work. We provide, like I've said before, employment for Nigeria. In the community where we have our refinery today, we have an MOU with the community. That's why, I mean, there is a kind of a friendly relationship between we and the community. We have not had any challenges of recent because we understand the importance of our host community, and we have also tied within our area of operation about 3 to 4 kilometer roads. Of course, it's also the access to our refinery. But if you go to that area today, what you see is economic activity. People are beginning to erect houses and all of that. Hotels are beginning to come up. You see a lot of other, like I mentioned before, a whole lot of auxiliary businesses, whether it is even trucking, having vulcanizer, people selling food and all of that. So all of our activity are actually geared to providing more or build on Nigeria human resource. We train our staff. We ensure that they have the knowledge to deploy whatsoever we have or visualize to do for the Nigeria, for the benefit of the Nigeria economy. And I think as of today, about 98% of our staff, they are local staff. And what we try to do is to build them up enough to be able to deliver a cutting-edge solution to the oil and gas industry. Our operation as OMSA, who is the promoter of our local or of our refinery, currently has a stake in one of the marginal feeds which we are developing as we speak. So our regulator there is NUPROC. On our refinery side and on the downstream business, we are regulated by NMDPROA. And I think so far we have cordial relationship with these agencies. They have supported us as far as they could. We are appreciative of the best that they have done for us. But however, like we always say, Oliver Twist will ask for more. We are asking for more. Like I've mentioned to you in this interview, we still haven't been able to optimize the capacity of our refinery. We are hoping that NUPROC will support. They are already supporting. We are having communication with them to support, to actualize we reaching or optimizing the full capacity of our refinery. We partner with a lot of government agencies. For example, on the environmental side, we partner, I mean, we are doing this with the Ministry of Environment, NCDMB. Also on the local content side, we work with them from time to time. I mean, there are other state agencies that we also work with. For example, the Delta State Oil and Gas Commission, when we were drafting and working out the agreement with our local community, they were very, very helpful. At those times where we had local challenges with the community, they came in, they intervened, and they were able to resolve some of these issues. So both federal and state government, they've been supportive. Anytime we go to them, we see, I mean, there's a lot of support that they give to us. We're appreciative of it. I mean, they are stakeholders in our business. You know, in any business, the stakeholders are usually government, community, you, the owners of the business, the people that will come and patronize you, and a whole lot and sorts. Plan for our expansion, like our refinery, from conceptualization, what we wanted to do was to expand the refinery to 60,000 barrels per day. It's the feedstock that have kind of stiffened that. And what we are looking at in the future, our immediate future, is to be able to add a reformer so that every naphtha that is coming out from the refinery, we are able to process it to petrol for local use. And in the cluster where we belong, there's a lot of condensate. Where you have condensate, what you have more, when you put condensate into a refinery, what you get is more of naphtha. And we are hoping that if we have the reformer in that location, we are able to process most of this naphtha into petrol, which we currently require in the country. So I think producing petrol in the long run, if all the incentive that we have been engaging, if we can get them, it will make petrol cheaper. So that is how we are seeing it. And outside of that, like I mentioned, we're in the upstream side, we've taken a strategic stake in one of the marginal feeds. Ours is also to expand that stake into maybe acquiring more of these upstream assets that are available to expand in our exploration and production quest. And on the downstream side, yeah, we'll continue to support every offshore operation with bunker delivery. Yeah, so these are some of the things outside of the renewable energy and the gas that I told you that we have a new strategy that we are going to deploy. During COVID-19, it was an interesting period for everyone, but one thing our company did was that we had a resolve that we are not going to sack anyone. It was a tough time and all of that. It drained our resources because we were not doing so much, and yet we had to pay people. But I mean, we know the pain that sacking people, letting people out of their employment will always cause. So we resolved that we are not going to sack anyone. We kept our staff and all of that. And we, in our local environment where we operate, we provided some supports in all sorts, whether it is finance and all of that, CSRO, whether it is food and all of that to our staff, even our staff and communities and all of that. So these are some of the few things that we have done during the COVID era to ensure that, I mean, we sustain employment for people that work with us. We have an MOU with the community. So ours is not to execute project, because what the community said they wanted is, okay, we pay cash to them, they deploy it into projects that they want to do. So what they only come to do to us is that we have a certain amount that we pay to the community on a yearly basis, apart from the money they also collect from the trucks that are coming to load from our facility. And this money goes into a particular account, and what happens is that they come up with projects, and this money are put towards those projects which they have come in, which the community comes up with. So we don't do projects for the community ourselves. The community takes the responsibility of doing projects for themselves. As a young man, I grew up in Auchi, which I think it's a very popular place. And from the family of OYAREKHUA, my initial school days were in Auchi. Should I mention all of those? Yeah, I did my primary school in Auchi, my secondary school in Auchi, and I proceeded to Auchi Poly, from there to Ilori and all of that. I graduated as a mechanical engineering. I mean, after my graduation, I did my youth service with the then DPRO, and from DPRO I worked with a company called Joe Services, which was eventually acquired by Schlumberger. I mean, my initial oil and gas industry experience came from that. This was as far back as 1994, 1995. Between that time and now, I've been able to establish OMSA, which we started in 2002. And OMSA has grown to become what it is today, only asset in the downstream, midstream, and in upstream. We are more or less like an integrated company, and we are still growing. After 22 years in business, we have been of high integrity, ensuring that we play according to the government rules and what the government wants us to do and all of that. So yeah, and we are still expanding yeah. So
some of the virtues that everybody has hard work, honesty, integrity, talk about it, and advise people that want to be successful, just like you. Final advice, how the policies want the government to put in place to regulate the oil and gas sector. Just round up in 2 minutes, guys.
Yeah, okay. I will always advise every young man or every young man that I see on the street, young man or woman that I see on the street, what I always say to them is that, yes, working smart pays, being skillful pay. People always say that, okay, they believe in going after their passion. I don't think that's my belief. I believe in acquiring skill. You think if there is an industry you think you want to come into that industry, understand how the industry works, acquire the skills that are required for that industry, depends on the aspect you want to be, deploy those skills and all of that, be meticulous, be, like, you could call it hard work, but what I say is smart work. I mean, commit time into what you are doing, be a visionary, be determined about what you do, be serious. If you want to become an entrepreneur, like I will always say, money management is very key, because what makes a lot of entrepreneurs to fail is not having the skill to manage money properly. People management is also very, very key. I mean, building a culture of good work, complying to the required rules and regulations in the industry that you play is always, that is always very, very important too. Yes, some of the things I always say, integrity is also another thing. Let people know you for your word. When you say yes, let your yes be yes. Don't be someone that will say yes, tomorrow money changes. Don't be a chameleon in business. And another thing, like I have said, financial discipline. When you borrow, because our business today has been built by the bank, when you borrow from the bank, you have to ensure that you pay back, because with that, you can build a record that no matter where you go to, people will be ready to support you, to support your business. The banks will be ready to put finance behind you. That is how we have grown to where we are today. Yeah, I mean, out of we wanting to ensure that the policies mostly towards refinery, they are sound enough and all of that, we have come together as a group. Most of the members, most of the people that are producing, most of the refineries that are producing today, we have formed an association which is called CORAN, and this association is to promote sustainability of refining in Nigeria, finding new solutions to the business of refining in Nigeria, looking at the challenges and also thinking of what kind of solution that we deploy to those challenges. Ours is also to encourage people to come into refining, like I said before, to make Nigeria a net exporting country of refined product. Also to engage government from time to time and be able to collaborate with government to find solution to the challenges that the refining industry faces. That's why we have come together to form an association called Crude Owner Refinery Association of Nigeria, which in short form is called CORAN. You know, so most time everybody hear Coran, so it's more popularly called CORAN. And this association is not meant for only crude modular refinery owners. It's meant for all refinery owners in Nigeria, because what we try to achieve is to have a platform where we can collectively look at the challenges and all of that, where we can engage with government, find solutions and all of that, plan for the future, like I have said before, to sustain the refinery business in Nigeria, to ensure that we are no longer importers of refined product, rather, we as a country become an exporter of refined products. Myself, Momoh OYAREKHUA, I'm an advocate of good Nigeria, and as a company and the group of companies that I run today, and also the association, it's geared towards supporting the present government to enable the government deliver on some of the promises that they have made to Nigeria, and to also contribute our own quota to the development of Nigeria, and not just to the development, but the sustainability, the long-term sustainability of any solution that we are bring or that were brought on board to support whatsoever the government is doing at this point in time.
I do hope you had a refreshing and enlightening time on the show today. And until I come your way, same time, same station, keep watching Presidency This Week. I am Anibiet Akpan.